How you doing, aficionados? Kris Baso coming back at you from www.tobaccoworldcigars.com. It's another week gone by, and I'll tell you what, I had to get the camera. I wanted my red to get set up. I needed to speak to you guys about a cigar I'm smoking right now. This one, what can I say? Everyone that touches me the right way, I'm going to get on the horn with you guys, get on camera. I'm going to explain to you what I love about it, why it's a fantastic cigar, and more importantly, who's making it. I am smoking the cigar. It's called the Coronado. It's made by Flor Dominicana. Now, you're catching me about an hour and a half later out of this puppy that I originally started smoking. I'm going to explain the cigar to you. Cigar is made by Lito Gomez. The company he owns is Flor Dominicana. And I'll tell you what, these guys are doing a fantastic job making cigars. My relationship with Lito goes back for years. But I can honestly tell you, I didn't hear much about his cigars over the course of the past year and a half. Back in the day, he's always made a fantastic cigar. He's the guy who created the chisel size. I had the chisels in his store, very big seller. Chisel Maduros, I couldn't keep them in stock. They used to always have to send me whenever they got shipments in. I wanted them all. He made the L500s, the 400s, the 300s. Then he came out with the 600 and 700s. All kinds of stuff this guy's been making for years. Quietly working, building, growing tobacco, and making a hell of a company for himself. And I'll tell you what, Lito, this is a home run right here. There's only two other cigars, ladies and gentlemen, that I've ever given a 9.5 rating to since I started rating cigars for you guys. One of them is a Pepin Garcia Cabaguan, the Bellicoso Fino, which I know after I did my video recommendation with you guys, everyone bought them, and we get a lot of reorders on them. So I know you guys are pretty grateful with that recommendation. And plus, I get a lot of mail back from you guys, a lot of responses, and everybody's giving me thumbs up on my recommendations. I try to be honest, I try to be pure, but most importantly, I've made an action of reviewing cigars that I like. Cigars, whether they're in the $5 price range or the $15 price range, I try to bring you the cigars that I like, because I don't want to get up on front of camera and really tell you who's making a bad cigar or who I think is making a bad cigar. It's not my style. I want to tell you when somebody deserves to get a pat on the back, and Lito Gomez and Flor Dominicana deserves it with this Coronado. The cigar is a sun-grown Nicaraguan wrapper. It's the only full-bodied cigar that I've recommended yet. I smoked it on a recommendation from a customer. Customer told me, you got to go out and try it. I went out and got myself about 5 or 6 boxes of the cigars because he wanted a couple for himself. And make a long story short, I smoked it one time, and I couldn't believe the next day when he came in, he says, what did you think? I said, honestly, Don, it was probably one of the best cigars I've ever smoked. I mean, I have my list of my top 5 favorite cigars, but this is now on that list. And I'm putting it in a 9.5 category with the Cabaguan and with the Padron Pyramidi Maduro, which you guys know, I'm a Padron fan. Whoa! What can I say? I love Padron. You know how I feel about these people. In my opinion, they make the best cigars on the planet. But I'll tell you what, Lito Gomez has come a long way with his cigars. I'll tell you a funny story. My background goes way deep into this industry. I used to manufacture. I was an investor in a company that manufactured cigars, and I've always been an aficionado. Ever since I'm 18 years old, I've had a cigar in my mouth. And when I had a chance to buy into the cigar industry, I went ahead and started manufacturing. I used to go to the Dominican Republic a lot. So I've been all over the Dominican Republic. I've been all over Nicaragua and Honduras. And when I tell you, there are cigar companies out there that manufacture cigars in god-awful establishments. I mean, no windows, no air conditioning, the rollers are sweating and dripping their sweat into your cigars. When you go to Lito Gomez's factory, and I've done it more than, I think 3 or 4 times, at least 3 or 4 times I've been there. When you go to his factory, you can literally sit on the floor and eat a steak off the floor. That's how clean his facility is. It's air conditioned. It's just a guy who has a passion for cigars. And then when you go into his country home, where his farm is, where he grows the tobacco, and I believe it's in I don't know if it's the Tamboril or the Canela region, but he's out in the country area of the Dominican Republic. He has the most fascinating farm you've ever seen. I mean, the guy spares no expense. Every penny, every dollar he's earned has been reinvested back into this company. And I'm not promoting him for you guys. I just need you to understand what it takes to make that 9.5 rating cigar on my scale of 1 to 10. Because the guy doesn't play around. Worms in the soil. I remember him explaining to us about the worms that he puts in the soil for the natural nitrogens that it produces. And then what he does is he takes that soil and he puts them in the little pots and he plants the seeds in them. And then he puts the seeds on floating beds of water. And I mean, just the guy is always trying to create and test and do something new. Right down to the curing barns. When you walk away from the tobacco fields and you're going over to the curing barns where they're taking the finished leaves after cutting the stalks down and pulling the leaves off, and they're tying them with rope, and they Dominicans climbing up the barns. They're like monkeys climbing up there and hanging the leaves down. And these curing barns, most of the curing barns in the Dominican Republic look like they're 300 years old. Look like bombs have blown through the sides of them, holes in the wall, you know. And you need to be there in order to understand what I'm saying. Lito did it with steel beams. He enclosed it with aluminum. It's just a beautiful, beautiful facility. And it's no surprise to me that he's making a cigar that's worth a 9.5 rating over here at Tobacco World. So I just wanted to touch base with you guys. We're going to make it a quick one. We're getting into the holiday season. Next week, I promise to be a little bit more funny, get a little bit more serious with you guys about what we got new, like all the different gift sets that we got out. I just wanted to touch base, get you this recommendation, a 9.5. La Flor Dominicana Coronado comes in 3 sizes. They make a 50 by 7, a 60 by 7, and I don't even know what the 3rd size is, but it's a 3-size box of cigars. They're not a limited production cigar, so you can get them. And whether you're buying from me, you're buying from somebody else, get out there and try them. And once again, this is Kris Baso coming back at you from www.tobaccoworldcigars.com. And remember, folks, I love to smoke. If I could smoke in my sleep, I would. And if I die and they don't allow smoke in heaven, I want a first-class ticket to hell. See you next week.